Good evening. Here's Doc Severson for the ReadySetCrypto OMNIA trade of the day for Thursday, the 4th of March. You can see in the watch list here, we're generally red across the board here today. And I think the biggest problem is interest rates in the United States are continuing to rise. And the Fed didn't really help their case today by proposing a different type of policy, which is going to let inflation happen. And this is why we see the 10-year Treasury note continuing to go higher above 1.5%, which is not that big, but it's an enormous change from the 1% we were just at the beginning of this month. So the Fed is still way down here and the bond market is way up here. And at some point, this is going to cause a huge disconnect when the Fed has to try to play catch up. And because of that, we have some larger markets that are out there like the NASDAQ just getting hammered today, and it's been getting hammered over the last 2 weeks. And when you have this much margin that's out there, all of a sudden you get margin calls. And when margin calls hit, that means that you got to sell whatever is in your account to be able to raise cash or they shut you down. And so you would think that assets like gold and silver would go higher, but they're not. They're continuing to drop. This is gold. And this is the silver ETF, SLV. This one's going lower as well too today. And a lot of this is just due to margin calls where it's just like you got to sell whatever you can just to be able to stay in business. So here's Bitcoin, and it's down 4% today. And that's not that bad, almost 5% today. And that's not that bad. Remember, what I've talked about is that I would prefer to see this set up a lower high, come down one more time to the swing test at 42,000, not because I have a limit order or anything like that, but this to me makes the most sense in terms of the amount of time that it takes and the amount of the pullback as I went into yesterday's report. Ethereum is still looking like a little bit of a bear flag, so we may get one last release down to maybe 1,300 or so, maybe even as low as 1,200. That is the high volume node that's out there. So 12 to 1,300 to me seems like the final level of support for this. As I look across the other markets, we have anything that was really, really strong earlier is getting hammered today because, again, people are taking profits. One of those being NEM the other day. NEM was just going insane to the upside. Today is selling off because, again, profits, selling profits, raising cash. This is all of what happens. Markets are interlinked. So as much as we want to think that crypto is decentralized and not connected at the hip to major markets, it still is. And a margin call is a margin call. We just have to wait out the pullback for the time being. That's it for today's report. We'll see you this weekend with the weekend report. Take care.